All right, guys. I told you to have your book ready and open to page 212, 213. This was the pages that talked about factors of production, and it gave the example of the bicycle shop. We had talked about that in class before we left for the break. Factors of production have four parts: land, entrepreneur, capital goods, and labor. In the bicycle shop example, we talked about land, which is the same as natural resources, things that we get from the earth, and what kind of natural resources the bicycle shop had, or the bicycle factory, I should say, what kind of things they got from the earth that they needed to make the bicycles. So we talked about rubber being made for the tires, and metal being used for all the different parts: the gears, the frame, the handlebars, the pedals, the spokes on the wheels. All that stuff came from metal that you would get from the earth. Okay, so for the bikes, we talked about metal. Is that showing up okay? Metal and rubber. Okay. Then we talked about entrepreneurship. Who is the entrepreneur in this case? Well, it's the person that had the idea to open the factory. One person one day had the idea of, I'm going to open up this factory and build these bikes and hopefully make money doing that. That person that took that risk, that organized all the things to get the factory started, that's the entrepreneur. Okay? Capital goods. Capital goods are things you have to buy. They're already made to make something else, okay, or to make your business run. So in the case of the bicycle shop, we named a lot of these. I'm not going to list them all, okay? But some things were the vinyl for the seats, paint to paint the bicycles, the boxes that they would ship it out in. We talked about the delivery truck. We talked about the stickers maybe that they put on there, the computers that the designers are using, even the desks and the tools that they're using to build the bikes and put them together. So there's lots of things under capital goods, and that list could go on and on. Labor, those are the people that work for you, or people who offer a service. So in the case of the bicycle factory, we could talk about the builders, the ones who are actually putting the bike together. We could talk about the truck driver. He drives the truck that delivers the bikes to the stores. The secretary, who takes care of the paperwork or managing the money. The designers. The painters. Again, that list could be pretty long, okay? Land and entrepreneurship, when you're talking about making a business, those things aren't going to be too long. There's not going to be too many of those. Actually, an entrepreneur, there's probably only one person. There could be 2 or 3 people, but usually only one person. Another thing in the capital goods, one thing that also would go here that people don't think about is money. You have to have money to either build the factory that you're going to make your bikes in, or rent a building where you're going to have your business. Typically, when someone decides to be an entrepreneur, they don't have a lot of money just sitting around so they can start a business. So oftentimes they'll go to the bank, tell the people there, hey, I got this great idea. And the bank will decide, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'll give you the money for that. All right. So we talked in class about what kind of business should we open in New Concord. Okay. I threw out the idea of, what about a gas station? You guys said, nah, gas station's not a good idea. We already have 3. Okay. I said, how about a coffee shop? Some people said yes, some said no. We decided, since New Concord's a small town and we already have one coffee shop, maybe that wouldn't be the best. So then I suggested a McDonald's. Of course, y'all love that idea because we all love McDonald's. Who doesn't? And we don't have one here. So I suggested, what if we opened up a restaurant? Maybe it won't be McDonald's, okay? But if we opened up any kind of a restaurant here in New Concord, do you think that's a good idea? And everybody liked that idea for two reasons. One, New Concord doesn't have many restaurants. We have Scott's Diner, and they're not open all the time, real late. We have the coffee shop, but you can only get so much food there. We don't have a big restaurant like Outback or Applebee's or Ruby Tuesday, something like that here in town. We also said it would probably be a good idea because then the people who live in this area wouldn't have to drive all the way to Zanesville or to Cambridge to go to a nice restaurant. We also mentioned with all the college kids who are going to Muskingum that, they're college kids. They need a place to eat. All right. If they're living in a dorm, they don't have a kitchen. So what we're going to do here in this lesson is we're going to talk for a minute about what if I opened up a restaurant. Now, let's say the restaurant, it's not going to be big. It's not going to be quite as big as an Applebee's, but not like a fast food place like McDonald's either. So let's just say I'm going to have just sandwiches and salads. Okay. What kind of things from the land would I need if I opened up a small restaurant? I'm going to need water. I need it for my restroom. I need it in the kitchen. I need it for people to drink, right? So I'm going to need water. Now, I said that I was going to have salad, so I need vegetables. Those grow on land. If I'm going to make sandwiches, whatever kind of meat, that comes from the animals. So that would also come from the land. Now, we could say, well, all of this stuff really is capital goods because I'm going to buy it from someone else. But we'll get to that in just a minute. The easiest one, right here, entrepreneur. If I am going to open up the restaurant all by myself, just me, who is the entrepreneur? Me. I had the idea. I'm going to go to the bank and try to borrow the money to open it up. I'm going to make all the decisions of what kind of restaurant it's going to be, what I'm going to serve, who I'm going to hire, all that kind of stuff. All right? So that was an easy one, just me. All right, let's talk about capital goods. So again, we could say, well, you still have to pay for the water, so that would be a capital good. You have to pay for your vegetables. I'm not going to grow the vegetables in my garden, so I'm going to have to buy them. So maybe we should put that over here. That's a tricky one. It does come from the land, but since I'm not going to grow it myself, we'll move it over there to capital goods. The meat, the animals are grown on the land or live on the land, but again, excuse me, I am not going to raise a cow out back or chickens and then do what has to be done to them to turn them into hamburgers and chicken patties. All right. So that's going to go over here to capital goods. I'm going to buy that from somebody. I'm going to need a building. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to have someone build it for me. Or maybe there's one in town that is empty that could be rented out. Okay. Again, this list could go on and on and on. If people are going to come into my restaurant, they're going to want a place to sit. I'm going to need tables. I'm not going to make them chairs. They're going to want their food on plates. I'm going to need a stove to cook things. So again, this list could go on for a really, really long time. Labor. Who is going to work in my restaurant? Well, the people that bring us our food, a waiter or waitress, the person that kind of takes you to your seat or tells you where to sit is called a hostess. So I might have a host, someone at the counter or waiting to seat you. I'm going to need some people to clean up. Okay? I'm also going to need some cooks to prepare the food. All right? So, yeah, I think that's about it. That's all the people I'll need working for me. So that list isn't too long. Again, capital goods, we could keep going a long, long time. For this business, things from the land, there just really isn't too much, and that's okay. Some businesses, there just isn't a lot of things that they get directly from the land. If you think about your Nike tennis shoes, some of them are made from leather. Leather comes from animals. Animals are grown, raised on the land. But Nike isn't actually raising those cows themselves to make that leather. They're buying it from someone else. Okay? All right, so here's what you're going to do. I'm going to set up an assignment for you in social studies classroom, and I'm going to put a little list of things I need you to do. I think the easiest way to do this is to have you make a Google slide, because everybody knows how to do that. I'm going to have you make a slide about land, entrepreneurship, capital goods, and labor for a business you want to create on your own. You get to decide. Are you going to open up a bicycle factory or a restaurant? Do you want to make a factory that sells shoes? Do you want to make a factory that builds cars? Whatever you decide, you pick what you want your factory to be, okay? Put that on the title page, okay? You can put Miss Hunt's Restaurant or Jake's Bicycle Factory or Ellie's Bookstore, okay? Put that as your title so I know what kind of business you're going to create. Make a slide for land. Tell me what kind of things you're going to get straight from the land. Tell me who the entrepreneur is. That should be easy. Give me some capital goods that you're going to need for that business and then what your labor would be doing. Again, I'm going to put that all on a document onto Google Classroom under Social Studies, and all the details will be there. If you have any questions, though, just let me know.